And we're live.
What's happening, Moonbeam and Moonriver Voyagers? Welcome to another episode of Moonbeam Universe, where we aim to connect our vibrant community with the culmination of teams behind projects being built on the Moonbeam and Moonriver network. In today's segment, we're going to be going to learn about Zircon Finance, their team, platforms, use case, showing us a demo, and answering some of your questions and more. Be sure to stick around until the end of the segment, where we'll be quizzing you with some fun trivia about Zircon and win some cool prizes. So without further ado, I'm your host, Jay, and here with me is our special guest, Andrey with Zircon Finance.
Hey Jay, nice to be here. How's it going?
It's going well, man. Happy Thursday.
Oh yeah, it's a good day. It's a good day.
Good day. We're very excited to have you on. So just to get some things started, so what I like to do is I like to start off with this question, and it's for anyone that's new to the Moonbeam ecosystem, as well as anyone new to just what the multi-chain and cross-chain technology is. So I guess, what is Zircon?
Yeah, well, Zircon is a DEX, it's a special DEX that allows you to reduce your impermanent loss and stake liquidity with just one token. So it helps solve something that I believe is a big issue with just the way other DEXs work. Because usually you'd have to supply liquidity and earn fees, farm. You always need to supply two assets or even more than one. And this is really, it's not really comfortable. A lot of people just want to, hodl tokens like Mover, like they don't want to split it with USD or stuff like that. So we've built a system that allows you to actually do that. And in the process, it also reduces your impermanent loss.
Very cool. I know impermanent loss is something that a lot of folks have to deal with, especially when we're talking about yield farming and things like that.
Yeah.
So reducing impermanent loss. I guess my question is, could you mind going into a little of how that mechanism works?
Yeah, I mean, it's fairly complex, but I'll try to do my best to explain it. So
awesome.
So the way it works is you have a regular Uniswap E2 pool. Sorry, can you turn off the mic because it's like really loud noise? Thank you. Anyways, I was saying, so we take a regular pool, so it can be like Mover, USDC, like just as you would on another exchange, and we split the two sides, and simply our system takes that liquidity pool and splits it into two different sides that are called stable and float. And basically, the idea is that the stable is always expected to receive the same amount of tokens as it put in. So if you put 1,000 USD, you get back 1,000 USD, and there is nothing strange about it. Well, the float side is it kind of floats, like it can be a little bit more varied. So it does suffer some impermanent loss, but it can also it can have negative impermanent loss. It all depends basically on the balance between the two sides. So if there's a lot of, let's say, people supplying liquidity in USDC, they will kind of be helping the Mover side as well, because in doing so they will reduce the impermanent loss by essentially restoring balance in the pool in a sense. So if you imagined Mover goes up, I don't know, 3 or 4x, it's going to have more weight than before, and people supply USD, rebalance the pool, and that's how the impermanent loss essentially is reduced.
Right. Very cool. I guess the next thing that I would like to ask is just, can you tell us a little bit about who's behind the platform? I mean, there's yourself, and I'm sure there's an amazing team that's working behind it.
Yeah, well, so I've been in crypto for many years. I guess my most famous thing I've done is I was a journalist at Cointelegraph for 2020, 2021. And I kind of witnessed the whole DeFi boom. I mean, I used it from the early days. I spoke with a lot of teams, especially about different DeFi designs. And one of the things that actually really caught my attention was actually DEXs and the issue of impermanent loss. So I was, for example, speaking with Bancor, which is another project that does something similar, and I kind of interviewed them basically for the launch of V2 and V2.1, which is their version that reduced impermanent loss as well. To be honest, when I spoke with them, I kind of understood that their system was, for example, relying a lot on BNT going up in price. and when it stopped doing that, like everything kind of faltered. So I just, I wanted to do something different, a new mechanism. Like actually, we just really started with we want to do single-sided liquidity, and impermanent loss is kind of a secondary thing. Maybe it's not even so bad in some cases. So, but the single-sided aspect is very strong in its own. But essentially, the system we developed also reduces impermanent loss, so that was a nice benefit. And yeah, essentially to build this, I met with David, who is my co-founder and CTO, and he was essentially like an expert developer, with many years of experience, but he wanted to get into Web3 and just build something in crypto, right? But he didn't have like really the kind of way of doing that, so we kind of it was a perfect match in that sense. And then thanks to Moonbeam's help as well, we assembled the rest of the team, which is like made of a lot of young, talented people. And here we are.
It's very exciting. I love it. So,
yeah.
So I guess So why did you guys decide to deploy in the Moonbeam and Moonriver ecosystem?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, so for us, the reason it's basically about the cross-chain thesis, right? So we're pretty bullish on Polkadot and Sama in general, but we also do kind of come from the, let's say, Solidity smart contract environment, just like a lot of Ethereum-based stuff, and it felt just like a lot easier to deploy something on Moonbeam and take advantage of the Polkadot connection of XCM, etc. So just to basically become kind of this hub of all the tokens on Sama with Ethereum, with all the other ecosystems, and yeah, do so in a way that is still convenient for us in the sense that you're still just like developing on Ethereum, but just on a different platform. And yeah, I mean that was kind of the initial decision, and of course over time, just we were getting like huge support from just like the community was great. We were getting huge support from the team and technical aspects and everything else. So just stayed for that, I guess.
No, that's great. Can you share with us what you and your team have been up to the last couple of weeks, or is there anything that you're particularly excited for that's coming up?
Well, in the last 2 weeks, specifically, I guess it's been mostly about kind of planning what to do after we launched, and of course fixing some issues, bugs on the website and stuff like that. And yeah, I mean we are kind of like thinking of what to do next, especially since like our initial roadmap was kind of tied to the launch on Moonriver, and to go further, maybe we'll need to make some changes. So now we're strategizing about those and just like continue to build up traction. We actually in the last 2 weeks, I think we went from like 300K to 800K TVL. So it's definitely been some background work on that. And I guess your next question is going to be on the roadmap and stuff like that, right?
Yes. Look,
yeah.
what are you excited for? Or what's something that you're really excited for on the upcoming roadmap?
Well, I mean, a lot of things. So
I'm sure there's a lot.
Yeah. Like, I mean, the one that I'm personally most excited about is kind of the stage 2 of Zircon, which is basically the perpetual move. So, in a nutshell, it's like we're basically gonna take the impermanent loss that you're suffering as an LP in the pool, for example, like just on the kind of on a base layer, so like the Uniswap layer essentially. And we allow the system to sell that impermanent loss to like willing buyers who are not like they're not arbitraging the pools or anything. They're just like buying your impermanent loss to make money out of it. But in doing so, they will be paying an interest rate which is a lot higher than the fees that you currently get paid for on the other platforms. So it's essentially a way of turning impermanent loss into an option derivative, and that's also something like very new and I think very worth trying, and just so personally super excited about that.
Gotcha. And then I also know that you guys you have a pro version as well for more advanced traders and things like that.
Yeah.
Um, I was like, I think that's something that's pretty unique, and a
Yeah,
lot of folks maybe not a lot of folks will look forward to as well. It's a different.
yeah. I mean, yeah, exactly. Like that's also part of the roadmap. So the Zircon Pro is essentially going to be the name of our deployment on Moonbeam, and the difference with Gamma that we have right now on the river is essentially that, like, Pro is going to be like the interface, for example, is going to be closer to what you would have like on Binance or FTX, all these platforms. So just like made for people who actually trade tokens and who do it for a living almost. And of course, it's not just the interface. It's going to have like limit orders. It's going to have stop loss orders also. Like a lot of teams forget about those. And just so many other things that make it kind of like the unique, like the whole package that you just go there and you stay there. Like you don't know, like, just use it to swap it once or twice in the
Right.
lifetime.
Very exciting stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, so I guess moving on. I mean, you mind showing us a demo of how Zircon works, and after that, we can take a look and see what questions the community has.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me share you the screen. 1 second.
No problem.
Okay. Allow. Okay. So let me know if it's loaded, if you see it.
Perfect. We got it.
Okay, excellent. So this is the first screen you see when you go on app.zircon.finance. You don't need the www, like you just go like this and it loads properly. So this is the swap screen. This is kind of supposed to be the chart. So for example, if we go on the ZRG here, we can see the chart. This one is actually inverted, so it's like the price of mover in ZRGs. So this is like what you would expect to see in a chart. And so this is like Uniswap V2 exactly. Like it's you can swap, we can swap from one token to the other. There's nothing like really changed in this part. So in this wallet, for example, we have like one mover, one ZRG. So we can, let's say, swap 0.100 mover. We have to approve, unfortunately, but you just need to do it once, and then it's done. Once for each token, unfortunately, but this is how it works usually. So while it's approving, it's sent the transaction here. So you can see here that it's loading and it's waiting for the confirmation. In the meantime, we can check out the app, which is the more important part of it. So this is the tab with all of the farms that are currently active, and you can see a few things here. So first of all, there's basically two farms for each pool, because one farm is for the float, which represents, for example, ZRG here. And you have one farm for the stable, which is, in this case, the mover. So basically, it's two different farms, but they all end up being kind of in the same pool. But because of our system, you have single-sided exposure. So you're like, if you supply movers, you don't really care too much about what ZRG is doing in terms of its price movements. You're just farming movers without any dilution. So it's basically like single-sided staking. And so you can scroll down here. You have a bunch of these farms. Let's see how our swap is doing in the meantime. So I'll just do a quick demo because it's very simple. But okay. Yeah. So we can do, like, for example, one mover, swap. This is exactly like Uniswap, so you can just confirm price impact. It's very low here. Let's wait until it confirms. So again, it's a very familiar flow. Now, let's say that we have some ZRG mover, like we have mover and ZRG actually, so we want to add liquidity to this pool. We can click here, so go on the farm tab and add liquidity, and it opens this tab. So as you can see here, like here it shows the kind of combination that you're choosing. So for example, here it's because we clicked from the farm tab, it already set it up for us. So it's ZRG and mover stable. This is W mover actually, but it's the same. So you can put mover or W mover. They're actually the same token in the background. And so, for example, here you can flip the kind of combination. So mover can become the float and ZRG is the stable. And this is possible, but it's really something that you shouldn't be doing because it doesn't make much sense. So,
Right.
sometimes, unfortunately, people click the wrong thing. But for example, there's a, I don't know, like an ETH mover pool or something like that, and right now there's only one combination, but it makes sense that there is kind of like you can have both, and it makes sense because mover and ETH are kind of similar in terms of like their volatility in a sense. So essentially,
Right.
the idea is that the stable is always the less volatile token, or at least it's similar to the float.
Gotcha.
So usually it's going to be stable coins, but it can also be like mover, ETH, etc. So going back to the ZRG, so there's another pool, so ZRG mover. So let's say we want to add some ZRG. We can do like 500 here. Unfortunately, again, we need to approve. This is something that we're probably going to change soon because there's a nice little thing in Moonbeam, which is basically like the batch, like the precompiled batch. So you can kind of do it all at once. But we're going to implement it later, of course. Right now, it's just a little bit of an inconvenience. But basically, like here we're choosing float and ZRG, right? You can just click here and choose mover and stable, and so we can supply just some movers. And this is basically, it's up to you. Like you want to supply movers, you have some movers, you can do that. If not, just add ZRG or any other token, of course. So we add liquidity. It's calculating the pool tokens that it's going to give us. And these basically represent the share of the pie that we will have. Now we can do confirm, and same as before, we can wait a little bit for it to confirm, and we should, once it confirms, see it here. So for now, it's still confirming. 1 second. So this is the pool tab, and this shows all of your positions. Here it's all, but if you have a lot of positions, it's useful to filter them by float, stable, or classic, which is basically like the regular, how you would have on other dexes. You can still do that, but it just, there's not much point to it, I guess. So there are no farms that are using the classic method, but it is something that will be useful later on for the options and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
So, okay, yeah, so the transaction passed now, and it should, okay, because I was in classic, it wasn't showing it, but here it is. So it's ZRG float. And we can remove it here, for example. So this tab is also quite interesting. So 100%, like you can also go into detail, and it will kind of tell you exactly how many pool tokens, but usually this percentage is fine. And there's a nice little button here. Let me just hit approve 1 second so that we don't waste time while I'm explaining. So there's a nice little button here that is basically says burn and swap. And when I click it, what happens is that like before I was getting, let's say 500 ZRG, now I'm getting 246 ZRG and 0.12 mover. And essentially what is happening is that I supplied ZRG, but I'm actually able to do this kind of swap that actually has no slippage. So it's you can do it like for large amounts without really affecting the price, and it simply transforms half of your initial tokens into, for example, mover in this case. And the reason it works is because when I added ZRG, it got matched with some movers on the other side, and so like these tokens now exist in the pool as half ZRG, half mover. So I can choose to retrieve them in ZRG, but I can also choose them to get them like in this kind of original proportion. So we can try to do this, for example, and confirm. You want to say something?
Oh, no. Go. You're good.
And as you can see, we transformed 500 ZRG into 246 ZRG and 0.12 movers. So there's a few things to note here. So actually, if you do like this for large, without the burn and swap for large amounts, you may actually suffer some slippage. So it might give you, like, ironically in a sense, right? it will make you suffer some slippage, because essentially it's withdrawing the tokens, like 50-50 ZRG and mover, and it's selling the mover into ZRG, and so because of that there will be there might be some slippage for like really large amounts. Usually you don't see this because there's like a reserve system, so you can just like take from the reserves and there is no slippage there either. But for really large amounts, you actually should use burn and swap because it's giving you the full value, even though half of it is in another token. So we have withdrawn. So if we go back to swap, we can see that we have 1 or 2 movers and almost all the ZRG from before. So it's basically swap some movers and some ZRG.
Very cool.
So what else do we have? So final thing, how to farm. Also, it's fairly easy. You can kind of do the same thing here. So let's go back to it. We can put some 500 movers again. We need to enable the farm contract again. Unfortunately, again, it's like solidity, it's approvals. It's a bit annoying, but we can't do much to it at this stage. But how to farm is quite easy. So you just go here on this tab, and once it confirms, you can just click this button here, which is going to be add and farm. So it just automatically adds liquidity and then also puts in the farm. 1 second. Or I guess while we wait, an alternative way is that if you just added liquidity, but didn't click the add and farm button, you can just go here and press stake. We burned everything that we had. But you can just take the pool tokens, the float that it gave you, and stake them here, and you will join the farm like that. Let me go back. So just for demonstration purposes, and I think I'll do one final kind of look into it. So 500 ZRG. So we've added and farmed. 1 second. So I'm showing you how to farm. Now I'm going to tell you which farms should you choose, because there is actually some things that you basically should know about it. So because of how the system works. So while we wait for this, you can see here there are a bunch of these indicators, and they basically represent how the status of that pool. And so on the float side, we have this indicator which is called divergence. And divergence is actually a different way of saying kind of impermanent loss. It can be called divergence loss. So, excuse me. So basically, there are 3 levels of impermanent loss. There is or divergence rather. There is low, which basically means balanced. There is high, which means imbalanced. So, in a sense, when you join a pool with high divergence, let's see if we have some here. You will have a lot of impermanent loss immediately, which is why you really shouldn't be joining these pools. We actually had some benchmarks about this, and there was a pool that, because of this high divergence at the start, it wasn't really able to benefit from the impermanent loss mitigation later on, because it just had so much at the beginning. So if you see divergence high and you want to join floats, like here, for example, ETH-USDC, it means that too many people put ETH. So it's really diluted, and if ETH goes up, you are not making as much money as you would expect. So I really wouldn't suggest to put money into these high pools, because it means that the situation is kind of bad. So you either wait for somebody to rebalance it, or you just join the USDC side in this case.
Gotcha. So you guys are essentially making users aware with with these markers.
Yeah, I mean, we're still, it's a bit of a work in progress still, because high, it's a little bit confusing, but basically this is what it is. Red means don't go. Green means, okay, of course it's good. Yellow is kind of average. So, actually this here, so this one has negative impermanent loss, which is to say that if you join it, you have some kind of leverage on ZRG if it pumps. Now, if it goes down, you are actually losing more than before. So it's basically like a leverage position. But it can be useful, and it's kind of what makes the system really work for mitigation, because at some points it will have negative impermanent loss as it goes up. and that makes it really, that makes it kind of return to the initial value, let's say.
Very, very cool stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like, next I want to move on and see if our audience has any questions.
Yeah,
let's take a look.
I'll just stop sharing for a sec, so if you don't mind. I think, so I can see the questions as well.
Let's see. We have, how is impermanent loss mitigation performing?
I can share a blog post that we wrote about it. So basically, we did a benchmark, like just from like the bottom kind of ZRG to like its top. So it was like a 5x gain, and it's like from a kind of academic purpose, it's very useful to us because you have like about 30% impermanent loss usually with a 5x pump. And our system performed so that the ZRG mover pool had negative, like minus 2% or something like that,
right,
in total impermanent loss. ZRG USDC was like 2% positive, and then there was ZRGE, which as I was explaining earlier, it started with high divergence, so it was like it had a lot of impermanent loss at the start. Then it got rebalanced and reduced it, but it was like 21%. But still, this is why like high divergence is really something you should avoid, because like the impermanent loss is actually somewhat worse even. So. And I can share it maybe in the chat, the blog post. Yeah. So this is it.
Very cool.
So, yeah.
I appreciate it. So I know next we have questions, trivia for our audience here, and some very interesting questions. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring Kathy back on so we can work on the quiz.
Yeah, I think maybe some delays.
Oh, I was gonna say, in terms of the trivia, I know that you guys have arranged for some very cool prizes. From first place will win 2,000 ZRG tokens, and second place is Zircon hoodie, as well as a third place T-shirt.
Yeah.
Some pretty nice swag. So definitely.
Yeah. Always wanted to make like logo T-shirts because I have like 15 from various conferences in other projects. And, yeah.
Let's see. We can get the trivia running here.
The trivia is coming, guys.
Okay. Thanks, Kathy. Thank you, Kathy.
Okay, so let me share my screen here.
Okay, so I guess.
There we go. Let me know when you can see my screen. Okay, everyone. So you can join the trivia. You can go to www.kahoot.it, or you can just scan the QR code and put the game pin, and then you're going to be able to log in here, and we're going to see the players. So we're going to give a couple of minutes for everyone to join.
Can we join?
I guess so, but we cannot like call you a winner since you know all the answers.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay, we'll see. And like whoever joins, like it's gonna ask you for your email, but no worries, the email is not gonna be on the screen or anything. It's just like so we can reach out to you if you win the trivia. Awesome. Luca, Kevin, who else do we have?
All right.
Okay, Moonwolf.
Moonwolf. It was like Moonwolf. I love it.
Right? Who else? Who else? We'll give a couple more minutes and then we can get it started.
Absolutely.
I think, by the way, while we were setting up, I saw a question here: where does the liquidity go? And the answer is basically in the pool. So it's the same pool as you're used to, but we just like have this external thing that puts liquidity together in one. So that's where it goes.
Very cool. Looking at another question, the low, medium, high, and the chart beside it are two different metrics, right? Or are they correlated together?
Well, they are correlated. So usually, when you have like when everything is high, that's like usually how it's going to happen. When everything is like below, then both are going to be low. Essentially, we're going to have like different names for it, but essentially, like the stable measure tells you how safe this vault is. So it's a bit like a bond. So like you're earning yield on it, but you do have it is possible, for example, that if the float token like goes to zero, that you will not be able to get the money because essentially there's nothing to withdraw it from. So the system is designed to prevent this, but it is essentially like a bond. So
okay. Well, look at that. We've got quite a few people in there now. We have Legit Tokens Only, Emperor Zerg, Good Milo, Luca, Kevin.
Okay, fantastic. So it seems that like we have some people in the room and we can get started.
Let's go.
Let's do it. Okay, so we start the Moonbeam Universe Zircon Finance trivia. And let's see what's the first question. It's a multi-selection question. That means that you can select more than one correct answers. What is Zircon Pro? So 4 options: Zircon and Moonbeam, a larger version of Zircon, Zircon's option protocol, our version of Zircon for expert traders. We'll see. Okay, so we have. Okay, I mean the majority was like in the good spot on the red one, Zircon Moonbeam and a version of Zircon, but like we'll see who is in the lead. Okay, poke me.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so everything can change. Kahoot selects a winner based on like how fast you click on the correct answer, but also like that is the correct answer. So this can change, but we'll see. Next question. What is Pylon a reference to?
Oh.
Yeah, that's
you don't even have to be involved in the crypto space to understand this one. If you know, you know.
yeah, it's basically the name of the system that we built. So
okay, so it's StarCraft.
only one person. Well, Warcraft is a close one, but still.
It's close. It's close.
Yeah.
Both from Blizzard.
Okay.
So, Sergey, tell us a little bit more about like the inspiration of using a StarCraft.
Well, I mean, like basically, I played a lot of Warcraft. David played a lot of StarCraft, and just like we need to find a theme like with the gems and everything, and it was kind of similar. So just let's call it Pylon. Like you in StarCraft, like there's basically the reserves, the resources that are called like you have to construct pylons to get them. And also the name of the token is ZRG, which is like Zerg. So the inspiration goes deep.
That is awesome.
I love it.
Fantastic. Thanks for sharing the story with us. Okay. Oops. No, I didn't see the winners. Okay, we'll have to the next one. Sorry, guys.
I think Kevin got the first place there, maybe.
Oh, really?
Maybe.
Nice. Okay, we'll see it after this, and we can like make stuff there.
What causes impermanent loss?
Yeah, this is a tricky one actually. Yeah, because
I feel like there's like
Mhm.
more than one right answer.
Okay, so toxic flow. And we have two people that responded this correctly.
So
Wanna
what
see?
is toxic
Yeah.
flow?
Well, I mean, it's basically I don't know. Like, imagine that you have a sell order for I don't know ETH at $1,000. The price is like 1,200 all of a sudden, and everybody just takes that $1,000 and steals the liquidity from you, and it's like super fast, faster than everybody. That's toxic flow. Like as a market maker, as when you're supplying liquidity, this is what you're kind of having to fight against. So
Understood.
yeah, and
Oh,
it's kind of what causes impermanent loss essentially in kind of a traditional setting.
gotcha. All right, Kathy, moving on to the next question.
Wait a second, Jay. We need to check the winners. So yeah, Kevin is in the first place. That's awesome.
Kevin's in first place, followed by Legit Tokens Only, and Pope Me in third.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, changing in the
Okay.
leaderboard. And Moonwolf disappeared.
Oops.
Okay.
Well,
Okay,
yeah.
guys. Awesome. Let's go for the next question then. Does the float vault have impermanent loss? I'll say four options here.
Hmm.
Yeah, I love The Office. That's awesome. Zero, which was the correct answer? Yes, but it's reduced and can be zero or negative. So we had two correct answers here, and it was like, think of 50-50. People was like confused with like the second, the blue option. So, Sergey, any more context that you want to add here?
Yeah, it's just like essentially the difference here is that the float doesn't give you any guarantees. So it can be higher, like it's supposed to be reduced, but it doesn't like get compensated by the protocol or anything. And that's why it's called float. Like it floats. It can be like high, low. It can be negative. So that's why.
Oh, nice, amazing. Thank you so much. And let's go to the next question. Oh, okay, scoreboard. Okay, we're seeing a change here. So
Kevin in the lead.
still in the lead, but like look how close he spoke me right now. And it
Yeah.
seems like he wants the first place. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think he's one of our community members actually. So might be a little advantage here.
You should keep an eye on Kevin. No, it seems like he knows a lot.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right. Final question.
Final question. Zircon stable bolts are most similar to, for options, bank deposits, options, bonds, and cash.
Oh, he did answer this one for you guys. Just trying to help some people out here.
Yeah. Okay, well, a couple have got it.
There we go.
Okay, so it's referred to bonds. Sergey, tell us more about this.
So yeah, as I was explaining, like it's not the same as a bank deposit because the bank deposit's like insured and everything. Here it's like there is some risk, like you have to be aware of that essentially, but it only happens if, like, for example, you supply liquidity to Luna collapsed completely, and so if you supply USD to that pool, you will also lose USD, unfortunately. So that's there's nothing we can do about it.
Fantastic. Okay, so we'll see.
All right.
Are you ready to see
Are
the
the
podium?
winners.
Kevin,
Kevin.
Okay.
Third place.
Charlie, and
Pope me.
Bob me.
Okay. Okay.
That is awesome. Two runners up then. But yeah, congratulations, Poke Me, Charlie, and Kevin. You guys are the winners of the Moonbeam Universe Zircon trivia game.
Yeah.
So,
Big congratulations to all our winners. We'll get those prizes out to you. And thank you,
Yeah.
Andrey, for coming to talk with us and educate us on Zircon.
Yeah.
Definitely looking forward to more of your developments.
Yeah, thank you. It's been fun talking about it. So hopefully, you'll see more of it later on.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Okay.
Glimmer fan, be sure to follow Zircon and all of their socials and stay up to date. And the Zircon team, keep building. Thank you, Moonbeam and Moonriver Voyagers, for attending another Moonbeam Universe. We appreciate you all, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
And thank you both, and thank you, Jay, also for your wonderful job moderating all the Moonbeam Universe. And Andrey, huge thank you for you for coming here and spend some time with our community. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Sure.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good one.
Okay.
Bye. Thank you, guys. Bye bye.